So what the heck happened here? So this past Friday, YouTube decided to be annoying and send me an email saying that I no longer have access to advanced features on YouTube because my channel doesn't have history. I'm freaking out. Anyway, I complained about it on Reddit and there was unexpectedly just an outpouring of support which led me to this number here. I finally crossed 300 subscribers, which I really did not expect anytime soon. So whether you've been here all along or if you're one of the people that came from Reddit to support me, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I actually wasn't even planning to make a video this week, but with so many people joining, I kind of feel like I owe you something. I feel like I owe you something to watch. If you're gonna be here, I wanted to make something, even if it's quick. And so I wanted to quickly talk about just retro game recompilations because this is something that's been happening a lot recently. So recompilations are basically projects where people take files from old games, old console games, and they have access to the source files or something, and they're able to recompile those files into a format that can be played natively on a computer. And I thought this is really cool as a concept. And recently, actually, for work, I had to write about this program called GitHub Launcher, which I recommend you check out because this kind of brings together a bunch of these recompilations, so it can be hard to stay on top of what's coming out. So this program just rounds up a bunch of these projects and you can easily download the recompilations. You do still need to provide the source files a lot of the time, so you have to find those yourself. But you provide the source files and then the recompilation will make it so that those games just run way better on your computer. And I specifically want to talk about two of them because, I'm a Nintendo guy and I tried Ship of Arcanian, which is a recompilation of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and Dusklight, which is a recompilation of Zelda Twilight Princess, both games that I love very much. And I wanted to talk about them because these recompilations are actually so cool. I just playing these on my PC now, it's such a difference from how these games looked originally. And you wouldn't even know it. It's those things where you're like, oh, this is what I remember the game looking like when I was a kid. So you start playing it and you might not know it right away, but then if you load those ROMs in an emulator, the difference is like night and day. So let's take like Twilight Princess, for example. Here, I'm playing it in RetroArch. I've increased the internal resolution to around, the max resolution of the screen so I can get close enough results. And it looks nice. I've tweaked some of the settings and everything. The game still looks decent. It's obviously, from 2006, so it's not a looker, but it plays okay. But then you switch to the recompiled version and it's like, wow, it's fully widescreen. It runs at 60 frames per second or higher. If you have a higher refresh rate screen, you can make it run even more smoothly and it looks so good. It's even sharper. They can't really change the textures themselves, there's not higher resolution textures or anything, but everything looks so much cleaner, and it's so impressive to me how this game can look kind of modern still. It's 20 years old at this point, but with these tweaks, just increasing the internal resolution and making it run at a higher frame rate, this game looks really nice. It's a very pleasant experience to play on PC now. Especially if you have a controller. Of course, I have an Xbox controller that I'm using for this. And it plays really well. So Nintendo may not have released the Twilight Princess HD on the Switch. There was a rumor for the past, 6 years or something. But this recompilation, that's as good as it gets, honestly. It looks really nice. I mean, I guess you could emulate the Wii U version as well, but having this run natively on PC, I think makes a big difference also in performance. So this just looks really good. And I haven't made it very far or anything, but I really love how this game looks through the recompilation. It's such a cool project. Then we have Ocarina of Time, which is better and worse in some ways because like I said, these projects, the recompilations, they can't do miracles, right? So they're not increasing the size of the texture, the resolution of the textures. They're not creating new textures usually, so it's just taking the original files and re-rendering them and recompiling them in a way that looks much nicer. And this usually benefits 3D models a lot more than it benefits plain textures. And in Ocarina of Time, this creates a very distracting effect in some portions because when you're, say, inside Link's house or any house in not Kakariko, sorry, in the Kokiri forest, the village, the interior of these houses is like a flat single texture. So like now you have this model of Link that looks really sharp and polished, and it really sticks out against the low resolution textures in the background. It's a little strange, but still, it's so worth it because I don't know if you are aware of this, but Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo 64 didn't even run at 30 frames per second, it ran at 20. So to have this recompilation that lets you run the game at whatever frame rate you want, 60, 120, like you can increase the frame rate so much. This game runs so smoothly now. It's really jarring to boot up the Nintendo 64 game, and it almost feels like it's stuttering the entire time. Like very tiny stutters, just like 20 frames per second is such a low frame rate and it just looks really odd. So to have it running at 60 frames per second, absolutely incredible. I mean, you can see the comparison here. It's really night and day again. So good. I did have some issues. Maybe it's just my laptop. So every now and then the game will like actually stutter or freeze for a couple seconds. And I also think that some of the animations were really made with the low frame rate in mind. So sometimes you'll cut something down or break something, and the animation still looks a little off. But oh man, the smoothness of this is so good. And so, we were waiting for the big Ocarina of Time remake on the Switch 2 that Nintendo announced and showed us almost nothing of, which I don't really understand why. Like we have like 4 months left in the year. The game is coming out this year, and yet there is no concrete release date. All we have is like a glimpse of Link sleeping. I don't know what they're doing, honestly, no idea. But if you don't want to wait for information, or if you want like a point of comparison, but the original just feels a little too, rough, this recompilation is the best way to play this game right now, I would say. If you have a PC, doesn't even have to be a super powerful computer. Yeah, this is the way to go. The only thing I wish these recompilations did, especially Ocarina of Time, and I don't know if it's possible at all, but it would be cool if they were able to add camera controls with like a proper analog stick. Because, I really miss camera controls when I'm playing Ocarina of Time, The camera just kind of following you in whatever way it prefers. Feels a little strange, so I wish I had more control over that. Maybe that's being worked on? I don't know. But anyway, those are like 2 of my favorite recompilations from there. Those are the ones I've tried the most. But there's a lot. There's stuff from like Pokemon Stadium. That one seems really, really early on, but I'm interested to see if they can make that better because I would like to see that game look a lot sharper. It'd be really cool. I also tried Banjo-Kazooie, the first one. It also has a recompiled version that looks really, really good on PC. Again, just the increase in resolution and frame rate makes such a huge difference. It's a very, very good looking game. Obviously it's still a Nintendo 64 game, but it's so colorful and it just feels really good with the high frame rate. So I would be interested in playing this game this way, maybe more so than using the NSO app, for example. So I don't know, it's really cool. And there's so much more than that. There's Nintendo 64 games, GameCube games. There's even some PC games, which I don't know how the recompilation works for games that were already on PC, but I don't know. But there's a lot of projects, and this app that I mentioned, GitHub Launcher, does really make it easy to find those projects and get started with them. So I recommend checking it out. You might find a project that you haven't heard of. So yeah, take a look at that, and if you like it, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about either the app or the games themselves. It'd be really nice to hear from you. But yeah, that's really all I had to say. I wasn't planning a video, so this is like very, very last minute. I just want to have something to say. Hopefully I can make another one next week. This week has been crazy for me, so I really had no time to prepare like throughout the week. Hopefully this next week will be a lot better in that regard. So yeah, I hope to be able to make another video soon. But again, thank you so much for being here. I'm also getting a little bit of a setup upgrade as a sort of reward for 300 subscribers. So maybe in the next video you're gonna see it. But anyway, that's all for today. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.